So one of my favorite books is actually the Hunger Games series. It was my first dystopia, and it was actually one of the first big, thick books that I actually finished because I either got bored with some of the ones I would pick or they just weren't that interesting. I loved how the story went. I loved the world building. I loved the fact that it actually addressed Katniss's trauma and how she would react to things compared to other dystopias that never seem to touch on that subject. I also liked the fact that, the ending was not a happy ever after, but it also wasn't like a tragedy. And I think that the first three books were amazing. I did read Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, but my one complaint is not the book itself, but the movie. I feel like the movie went out of its way to try to make Lucy Gray and Corio a misunderstood bad boy, and for Lucy Gray to be a harmless, innocent angel that didn't do anything, even though, without spoiling anything, she was no saint. And I feel like sometimes that's one of those things that gets lost in translation from like book to movie or series. We kind of lose like the inner thoughts and inner dialogues of characters. Because Corio was always somebody that saw people as a means to an end. He only really started to act worse once he realized that sometimes even that wouldn't get him anywhere, or that would get him in a worse situation than what he originally was in. And of course, I'm not spoiling anything because I know people want to read stuff, so yeah. And a lot of people had Ken and Katniss as being native or being darker skinned, and honestly, as someone who never really saw herself or people that looked like her on the TV, that was a start. Now, thankfully, we have a wonderful, diverse book market now, but that also means sometimes we don't get good representation. But anyway, back to the topic on hand. I am going to be making these and going to try to make them as short as possible because I know y'all probably get tired of hearing me. So if you like the Hunger Games too, just let me know which one's your favorite or what was your favorite part. If you want to spoil it, I don't care, but just be mindful of other people.